So I'm back at the hospital waiting for my labs, and I've had a couple hours to sit with this confirmation that cancer cells have for sure.
Good morning, you guys. Today we get to go back and see one of my favorite people. We get to see Dr. Crow today in my surgical follow-up to see how I'm healing from the procedure, my hemicolectomy. I think I've mostly done a good job at doing what he asked me to do since having my surgery. I wonder if maybe I'm working out a little more than the typical person. Good morning. Oh, hello. Hello, good morning. Can I help you? Can I freaking help you? Were you just wanting a little shine? Okay. Oh, wow. She's not usually quite this friendly. But I appreciate whatever this is. Oh my God, she's out of control right now. You are way too energetic, dude. I have some questions for him. Like, I'm wondering how long till my stomach looks a little more normal. Is there anything I can do for the scars? Is it normal to still feel some pain inside consistently, which I do, but all of it's pretty mild. So I'm going to have my best possible day, and that's no small part because of you guys.
So I've continued to do these weight check-ins and these body and scar update check-ins just because I want to wait till my stomach looks more normal and all of the glue comes completely off.
We're making progress. 2 nights in a row where I didn't wake up with diarrhea. Go ahead, Abby, go ahead. Supplements, enthusiasm, and 2 glasses of water later, back to really bad diarrhea. But it didn't wake me up, and I'm still really grateful for that. Let me know in the comment section below if you could do without these bathroom updates. I had a hemicolectomy. They took 1/3 of my large intestine. It makes me think I should tell you guys about these things. Good morning, Dad.
Good morning. How was your sleep?
My sleep was quite wonderful. I only woke up to pee twice in the night, got 6 hours, but I have had diarrhea 2 or 3 times this morning, pretty bad.
I think the diarrhea is going to be a long-standing, persistent thing.
Yeah.
And one of the questions we can ask your surgeon is, can you now eat anything? Like, could you do chia seeds? Could we do more soluble fibers to try to
bulk up the stool? Yeah, because I have been keeping my fiber really low while doing all this fat.
Right.
I love you.
Love you too.
Bye-bye. All right, we're walking to the hospital. We've got our surgical follow-up appointment with one of my favorite people in the world, Dr. Crow. Such a nice doctor.
I was your favorite person in the world.
I said one of my favorite people. I've got my dad / the backbone of this whole thing. And we're gonna go see how my sutures and how the surgery recovery has been going, I would presume. Happy to be coming back to the hospital in slightly better circumstances. Well, we're in the room. Looking forward to seeing this guy. He's a good dude.
All right.
So we just finished my appointment follow-up.
I think the most important thing he pointed out initially was there is an organization called NCCN. They provide guidelines on all different tumor types and what to do about them. There are a couple tumor markers that are specific for appendiceal cancers. And so he has ordered the blood work, and we're going to go down and get that blood work done right now after this recording.
And the reason that's important to note is because we had done tumor markers, at least they said they did here, that were related to colon cancer, and having appendiceal cancer just creates different guidelines for markers to test.
Right. If we can have some good tumor markers, we can then every month or every 2 months check those and know if we're making progress or not.
Right.
The goal is to get those tumor markers to normal. That's going to be super important going forward. We're going to get another colonoscopy in a year. He thinks we should have CT scan of chest in 3 months because there was
From the operation.
initial one.
From the initial one.
Right.
Yeah, on my initial CT scan, they saw a tiny little speck that no one seemed concerned about, and I guess that was soothing. A tiny speck in my lungs that they just want to make sure.
Yeah, it was 2-3 millimeters, I believe. They could have been a node, but they weren't sure.
Yeah, I mean, literally everyone
suspected it was normal.
Everyone wasn't worried about it.
Right. We discussed the PET scan. He brought up an interesting point about PET scan in the context of colon cancer, and that is PET scan lights up wherever there's increased cellular activity, cell division, which cancer cells, of course, are doing that. But he says so are liver cells, which is one of the main places cancer can recur, and so are the whole intestinal tract. The GI lining is very fast turnover, which I knew that. So the whole thing lights up, which is what I guess makes PET scans not so effective for colon or appendiceal type cancers.
Well, and one of the things he brought up also is that if I were sick, for example, or if inflammation was reflecting in any of my nodes, that node could light up in the exact same way that a node that was cancerous might light up, even if it were completely unrelated, because they can't be hyper-specific in a way that CT scans can. And he said that could lead to a potential needle biopsy or whatever.
What do you call it? An unnecessary needle biopsy.
An unnecessary needle biopsy. Now, to be clear, and I said this to him, being the patient, right, from my perspective, I'm not so worried about that. I'm more worried about doing everything in my power, like everything at my disposal, to be as thorough and as meticulous as possible, in the hopes that if we did find a rogue agent in this cancer journey, maybe we would find it. But to avoid some unnecessary suffering of a biopsy of a node, I personally don't care, but I don't want to be cavalier and ignore the advice I'm being given. I'm just speaking from hey, my life's on the line here. I'd rather do everything and then see where the cards fall, or whatever the expression is.
And if I were in your shoes, that's how I live my life, is if I'm in your shoes, I would agree. We do everything. We have a rare cancer. We know it. We now know it's not completely resected. So that's what we're going to get into right now.
Okay.
But he pointed out that the back of the colon doesn't have a serosal layer. There's a part near the cecum where the pathologist found the tumor had extended beyond that layer. And so that's what they call a positive radial margin. And they found 2 of those. The other was on the mesenteric edge towards as far as they went of taking out ileum. It was interesting, he pointed out, he went as far as he possibly could. It actually made the surgery more dangerous, but he wanted to be as aggressive as possible, as getting as much ileum as possible without risking major blood vessels and high-risk surgery. Okay, they got as far as they could, and there was cancer there. So we have to take that to mean that we've got cancer to still knock out.
But it was a sobering moment. He strongly encouraged, make sure you get your chemo. And it was just I think I probably mentioned this at great length, but I take this all in as much as I can, as to whatever extent that I can, as I go to maintain some form of semblance of a normal life. But to hear him finally say, no, we know there's still cancer in your body. We know it's aggressive. I hate that word. I hate hearing the word aggressive. But yeah, it was just oh, right. We have work to do. So it's just...
We've been going along the assumption that there were rogue cells.
For sure.
And we were going to go after them full on.
Of course.
And we are.
Yeah.
We already have now our toolbox of alternative care, which we will present on another video soon.
Yeah, we sure will.
What we're doing, and then we've got our cancer specialists coming on. There will be chemo. It's just a matter of which approach we're going to end up deciding is probably the best.
Yeah.
And we don't have enough information to make that decision yet. We still have your main oncologist appointment.
Right.
We have a immuno-oncologist and oncologist who does nanotechnology that we're consulting with in person up in the Seattle area. And then we've got a Carson City, Nevada oncologist who does insulin potentiated and other things.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of tools in our toolbox.
Yeah.
But we're not waiting. We're now going aggressively after it.
Yeah.
As of right now.
Oh yeah.
Boom.
Absolutely. I suppose it might be worth bringing up some lighter updates from this visit,
Yeah.
such as I am now cleared to have peanut butter with nuts in the peanut butter, for example. I can have chia seeds again in my diet. He said that being this far along, I think he even used the words that I was progressing better than usual or healing faster.
Your physical recovery is amazing.
It's been really, really good, reflective of the workouts. He asked me some questions about pain, how I was feeling. He did say I could use discretion in going a little bit heavier with some weightlifting, assuming I don't feel any sudden or sharp pain. He checked over the incisions. He talked about the fact that swelling in the tissue, sort of that puffiness that my abs have taken on. He imagined based on the incision that I was halfway-ish, in the halfway marker of repair. He said that the tissues, right, like my abs and my muscles and where the incisions took place, particularly the one above my navel or right through, only ever heal, his words, about 80%. But he said the same for the inside. Surgically repaired intestines and the small intestine, large intestine that were fused together, they lose some elasticity compared to all of the other parts of my colon. They're just not quite as malleable as they once were.
It's going to be a little bit of scar tissue.
I just didn't even consider that I wouldn't make 100% recovery from a surgical perspective, at least for the tissue.
He's a surgeon and I'm not.
You don't think
But
he's
I don't
right.
buy that. I was wondering if he was more referring to, strength of your ab. Yeah.
All right, guys, that wraps up the
Off to
surgical
get some blood
follow-up
work.
and off to get some blood work.
That is funny.
All right, we're headed to the lab, but check it out, we're official. The guy who helped us said that we could go anywhere we wanted in the whole hospital.
Yeah, as long as we have our sticker.
I'm half tempted to just stay here just to go places,
Oh,
because we can.
oh wow.
All right, so the wait time is 2 hours. We're gonna leave the hospital, take a break, come back in a couple hours, and do our blood work then. The nurses are still on strike.
Yes, they are.
My mom is a retired nurse. This guy, I don't think you could have survived without great nurses.
Oh my gosh. Nurses actually run medical care.
Right? So I'm back at the hospital waiting for my labs, and I've had a couple hours to sit with this confirmation that cancer cells have for sure moved throughout my body beyond the area infected. I don't feel as intense as I felt when I first processed the stage 3, but it's definitely a chill went over me, and some fear crept up, and just like the reminder that we're dealing with something very serious. I do seem, as my days go on, I do seem to be getting better at just taking things in stride and finding joy and remembering that God wants me to be happy, joyous, and free. That's what I think to myself. God wants me to be happy, joyous, and free. God doesn't want me to be afraid. Little bits of info come out and I just get this chill, or I'm just like, oh yeah, this is really serious, isn't it? I just don't want this to steal my joy.
You are all set to go then.
Thank you. Have a good
You're
rest of your day.
welcome. You too.
Hasn't been my favorite day in this journey, but it hasn't been the hardest day either. Thankful to the wonderful people at this hospital. Thank you to my doctors. Thank you to you guys. Thank you to my dad. Got the blood draw done, so we have some new markers for my cancer. Me cancer. Yeah, time to go home. Time to eat. Time to rest. Oh, guys, I needed that. I needed that and I wanted that. Training, like working out, is just so important to me. And I don't know how much of my identity I've built around it. I've always tried to keep it in its right place, but being in leadership at my gym, being one of the coaches, being an athlete, doing competitions, just finding so much joy and expressing myself physically. The mental, emotional, spiritual battle of this whole cancer thing has been very hard, but probably less addressed is the difficulty of my body being different and feeling different and having to adjust myself so much, which I know many of us have. I hope I don't sound like I'm complaining, just reflecting. So being told by the surgeon today, hey, be mindful of pain in the incision, but he told me I was healing up just about as good or better than anyone he's ever seen. I'm thankful to that. I wonder if my base and fitness really helped. So there's just such freedom and such peace in being able just to let loose and turn loose on a workout like that. My body feels tired, but I feel good, and I'm so thankful. So, first workout, I'll have to still be careful, be mindful, but to get that tough news about my biopsy, but also get permission to be myself a little bit more was a blessing. God is good. Thank you for being here. Hope you heard something or felt something that makes you want to come back and spend time with me. Keep sharing your stories, please. Keep sharing your info and your testimonies, please. And I'll keep sharing everything I learn. Thank you to everyone supporting the GoFundMe. And thank you just for being here, the prayers, the well wishes, all that. I'm going to thank you every single day. And hopefully get to stay around this planet a long time to pay it forward. God bless you all. Take it easy. So no, tell us what's going on. So this is pretty interesting. We're here for our surgical follow-up. The nurses are on strike. My dad's been in this hospital his whole life. What's going on, Doc?
So we knew your appointment was on the East Pavilion,
Right.
the far side of the building.
Right.
But because of where we had to park, we could walk in the main entrance and it's cold outside. I thought,
Yeah.
we'll just walk in. Then we get told, no, you have to check in. I'm going, okay, well, we'll just go out around the outside then to where we...
And then I kind of insisted we stay in.
No, just stay in the line. So I said, okay, whatever. So we wait in a long line and they tell us you have to go outside and go around.
Yeah.
So,
And we're trying to show up early for this appointment because they called us saying someone canceled.
yeah. So I don't feel stressed, but I was a bit annoyed that, you know, they weren't allowing us, or, well, actually, anyway, it's a silly situation of no significance whatsoever.
No way, man. This is drama. I think you just heard me say it. He seems slightly more agitated by this experience than by me having cancer. So it's